Hey guys, back with another Meet a Local Rider. We got Mr. Josh Vickers. Josh, how are you doing?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, give us a little bit of a background of who you are, where you're from, what you got, or what got you into the motocross.
I'm Josh Vickers. I'm from Forest City, North Carolina. And what got me into motocross is really my dad. He used to race back in the day. And ever since I was little, I kind of like racing and stuff, but never really got into it till about 2 years ago.
That's awesome. Um, what was it like racing in D class? I mean, it's always carnage, but it seemed like once you get out of that first couple turns and all that carnage, I mean, it's pretty easy to check out. With you winning D class this year, and I think they're going to move you up to C class. What's your expectations with that?
Um, my expectations for C class, I don't really have them too high right now because I still have a lot to work on with corner speeds, especially. But I'm just gonna try and keep it around top seven. Probably is where a good place would be, and then probably midway through the season, I'll start bringing it up to near podium and
Okay,
try to win a couple of those races.
awesome. Are you going to run any 450 C class?
I think I might just do 250C, 125 open, and maybe schoolboy.
Okay. Um, what 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 was your biggest improvement this year that really impressed you as a rider? Like, what impressed you the most this year overall about you?
Um, Definitely gaining confidence to hit bigger jumps. Uh, Definitely that because whenever I first hopped on the 125, I was struggling just to hit little doubles and stuff. But I started hitting, I don't know, like 110-foot double, triples, and stuff like that. So it was just really jumps, really.
Is it? We all know it's a physical sport, but it's also a mental sport. What goes on mentally when you're out there racing and you're doing it competitively and not just out there fooling around?
Um, for me, I just like whenever I get out there on the track, I get really worked up throughout the first corner, and then probably about once I get over that first two laps, I kind of collect myself and calm down, and I just try and worry about consistency and just not trying to go down and just keep on hitting the same line as much as I can, and if that's interfered, then explore new lines. Really, uh, try and stay on the gas as much as I can and keep it in the right gear. I've been struggling with that gear ratio lately.
Yeah, them 125s, man, they're fun as heck to run. Especially when you're lining up on the gate and you already know you're outpowered by bikes, but at the same time, you know you see guys out here at Loretta's winning 250C on a 125. So you're very capable of winning races on 125 in a 250 class. But do you throw the thought out of being underpowered and you just rely on your skills and what you know?
For me, I don't think the 125 is underpowered at all, by all means. Um, I think it's more on skill and how you ride is more important than the bike speed and suspension and all that. It's important with the bike speed and suspension, but I think that really goes to the rider because I've pulled plenty of hole shots and won plenty of 250 races on that stock 125, and it just felt amazing. There was some 250s I could pull them straightaways and some I couldn't. So I don't know. I don't really feel like it's underpowered by much.
I hear you. So what's your expectations as far as track wise this year? What tracks are you looking forward to? Or are you going to go out and try out new tracks, different areas? What's your plans for the 2023 outdoor season?
For the 2023 outdoor season, I'm really excited to see how Kathy's is going to be since they've turned that around. That's going to be different daylight and dark, really. Um, so I'm probably going to try and base it more around the Carolina Outlaw series, try and figure out those tracks as much as I can. Uh, Looking forward to 221. I've always loved that track, just the way that it's laid out. At tabletop, I hit it. Oh my gosh, it's big.
Yeah,
It's big.
221, man. It gets rough, and a lot of people when it downpours at 221, a lot of people are like, it's gonna be a mutter. It's gonna be a mutter. Yeah, it may be a mutter during practice, but the track always turns out great. I mean, it could be soupy and just a straight up mud race at first, but midway through the first set of heat races, that track really comes around. We got to give a lot of thanks to Chris Fortune and Fortune's grading for that.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, buddy. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, sorry, you're good. Yeah, that track, it does get rough, especially if it rains, like right before the race and stuff. It just the braking bumps, especially those are the worst. I always try and like jump through them and everything. It doesn't really turn out too good for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, it definitely gets rutted out pretty bad. But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. What would you like to see change? I mean, it can be with any track or any series or just in the sport itself. What would you like to see change or be added?
Oh, that's a hard question. It is. Probably the sportsmanship for sure. People are always being dirty and everything. I can understand if they're trying to get around you, but whenever you're taking them out, that's definitely a big thing. I know they usually penalize you if you take somebody out, but sometimes they just don't see those things. But that's not all their fault. But definitely just better sportsmanship in this sport because I haven't seen much good sportsmanship lately.
Yeah, and you'll have those guys coming in. They'll be super cocky, but most of the time, those are going to be the guys that's in their head and they're going to make mistakes throughout the race. While on the other hand, you got a clear mind going into the race and you're set on one goal and one goal only. And that should be the best rider there is out there.
Right.
I've watched you throughout last year and it's just like a lot of the riders, man, y'all really improve. And as a kid, there's a little bit less worrying about getting hurt and stuff because as an adult you got to get up and go to work and stuff like that. So I give the kids major props to the dedication and the hard work that they have to do to pay off and move up in the motocross. It's not easy at all. Are there any sponsors or shout outs that you'd like to give before we move on to a couple more topics?
Oh yeah, definitely God for one. Always been there for me throughout my whole life in this sport. My mom and my dad, they've paid for everything for me. My sister, she's always there, trying to motivate me to do better, be better as a person, especially. Creative Motorsports, he's helped me since I've been on 85s, I think. He's been there, always helping me with the bike, rebuilding it. Yeah, that's about it though.
Yeah, Frankie, he's a super cool guy. Most of the time he's at the local tracks for trackside support. Always out there changing tires and answering all the questions that the riders have, even parents have. Let's talk about some funny stuff. What's the funniest thing that you experienced while racing motocross? I mean, it could be a part that happened during a road trip, during a race, even just hanging out with friends on the weekend, man. I mean, you spend the night at a track, most of the time it's Friday night, occasionally Saturday nights, and the bond that people get at the track, that's just one bond that's nearly impossible to break. I like seeing everybody come together, especially when something bad happens, when bikes get stolen and stuff, you got people out there that's willing to loan your bike to finish out the season. I love it when you see the community come together like that. And I'm going to be talking to Chris Fortune this year. I'm going to see about donating some security cameras to 221 and Cathy's Creek to try to reduce that down. So, let's talk about some Supercross. I know you watch it, don't you?
I've seen some things on Supercross. I'm not really big at watching it, really. I haven't watched it this year much, but I've seen where there's a few videos out there of some pretty cool stuff that the pros are doing.
Yeah. Well, I know you know one guy, and that's Hayden Deegan. I mean, you see him all over YouTube and Facebook and stuff. What's your thoughts of him coming out of the amateur ranks? They teased it all over the channel this year that he was going to continue racing another year of amateur, and then he went into futures, and then he just made his debut. I think a lot of the amateur riders are like, thank God. But, as a fan of him, I love seeing the way that he rides, dude. He's so smooth, he's fast, and he's got a lot of talent.
Oh, yeah. Hayden Deegan's definitely wild. He's such a good rider. I've seen the video. I think everybody's seen it, where he jumps the triple in and then just drags the bar throughout the whole corner. That's wild.
Yeah, that kid's got some fast corner speed, and watching him, he don't even put his foot out most of the time. Most of the time, he's standing up going through them turns, and I mean, it's all
really aggressive.
Yeah, it's all within the physicality of the sport. I mean, if you don't work out, eat right, eat healthy, do your exercises and stuff, and put it in the training. Everybody wants to be the fastest out there, but nobody wants to put in the work for it. So if you don't put in the work, you're not going to pay off.
Yeah.
Are there any other topics that you want to talk about? I mean, it's an open mic right here, man. I mean, it's all opinions. I mean, bring up something that you want to hear about me or you want to talk about. I mean, what you got in mind?
So what's your goals for the 2023 outdoor season? I want to know yours.
Well, honestly, after my bike got stolen at 221 last year, I thought it was going to be over for in a blink of an eye. Like my comeback just started, and then it's just nope, you're not ready for it. But big thanks to Sean Montgomery and Ricky Jackson, David Morton, and all the people that let me ride their bikes and stuff throughout the rest of the season. It definitely helped me gain a lot of speed, knowledge, skill. And then Warren Doyle at Top Gun, man, for the past couple of weekends, I've rented it out and invited y'all out. And that's one track that if you want to get faster, I mean, that's a good place to start out at. But overall, my goal is just to be able to gain more confidence hitting the jumps like you. I've had multiple concussions, multiple broken bones, multiple ACL surgeries, that going on in the back of my head, not only as an adult, but, I've got family out here that loves me. I've got a beautiful fiance who's there by my side nonstop. She gives me the support. And then, at times it's like, man, you don't need to be racing. You don't need to do this. But, at the end of the day, she loves seeing me happy. So, I just want to be able to not only get faster, but help bring the community together. And that's part of what this podcast is going to be about. And that was my whole intention of it, was not only to bring everybody together, but to get local riders like me and you, out there, let everybody know who we are, where we came from, what got us into it. And hopefully somebody will just look up something random on YouTube one day about dirt bikes and a video pop up. And it may be me, it may be you, it may be any of these other local guys out here that can, grab the attention of that new person and bring them into the sport. But overall, man, I just want to go out there and have fun and experience everybody working their ass off. Pardon my language, but Loretta's is coming up, and there's one guy that really stood out to me throughout last year, even though through all the injuries, but coming into this year, and that's Ricky, man. We're supposed to go to south of the border this weekend, so like I said, I'm I'm mainly in for it to help other people out if I can. But at the same time, I'm out here trying to have a good time too. So it's all about the fun.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Let me ask you this: Do you have any idea when you're going to move up to a 250? And if you do, is it going to be a 2 or 4 stroke?
Um, Man, I haven't really. I've thought on the 250s. I've thought on it a lot lately. I think I'm gonna run this year on the 125 and uh, try and progress and master that 125 really. And if I move up to a 250, I'm gonna have to go with the 2-stroke, man. That's just I don't know. I'm not trying to work on those valves.
Yeah, man. 2 strokes, not only are they easier to work on, but man, they're just so much more fun. They're lighter. And not to mention the sound. I mean, the sound's just the best part about a 2-stroke. But no, there's definitely, the pros and cons of having a 2-stroke. And I just like how you can toss around a 2-stroke more than you can a 4-stroke because of the weight difference. But definitely in certain scenarios and certain tracks, that 4-stroke does come into play.
Oh yeah.
Are there any? Are you going to try to give Black Ankle a try this year?
Can you say that again? It's lagging a little
Are you
bit.
going to try the Black Ankle track this year? It's a new track to open up in Star, North Carolina.
I haven't really heard nothing about it, but I mean, yeah, why not? Always like to explore those tracks.
Definitely look it up on YouTube, man. Jed Dry went out there and put in a lot of work and time into that track during the off season. And there's a couple of series that's going to hold some races there. Are you going to try to do you have any future goals for Loretta's, like within the next few years?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Really right now I'm trying to focus on getting faster, getting smarter with how I ride and corner speeds and all that. And definitely riding rougher tracks before I try and make it to Loretta's. But I'm gonna say in about probably 2 or 3 more years, I'm gonna start qualifying to try and make it to Loretta's.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna try and put in as much work as I can as soon as possible, and because I'm starting to get older, I'm going into high school. In about 3 to 4 years, I'll be going into college, and I don't want to really try and mess up anything with trying to qualify for Loretta's. So try and make it as soon as possible. Put in that work, just try and get better,
I hear you. Sorry about the dog. Somebody's knocking on the door. Any tips for any people moving up in classes or people coming into the sport? Do you have any tips or pointers for them?
Oh yeah, for sure. Make sure you're on the right bike for what you're starting out on. If you're starting and you're about 5'10"-ish, definitely go for the 125. Master it. Keep stay on the 125. People talk good about the 254 strokes. They are very nice bikes. It's just too much for at that time. But definitely start in D class and stay for as long as you can. That's for sure. Just try and get better in those classes. Learn every class. Make sure you're ready for your competition up in the next classes. Don't think that you need to spend a bunch of money in a bike and trailer and all that mess. You really don't need it. You just need you and a dirt bike and some gear.
Yeah.
But you don't need to pull up like Hayden Deegan before you haven't ever rode before, and you don't need a bike that's heavily modified to be quick.
Yeah. I don't know if you recall it, but I think it was the last race that we had at Top Gun. I was out there on the 125, and I love the challenges of knowing that there's better people out there and faster bikes. And I decided why not just hop in the 450D on the 125. And man, I had that little slip up where I pulled a Superman going over that triple, but I was able to hold on to it and ride it out and stay on the rear tire. But personally, if I'm not doing good, if I'm not in the top five, I'll sit back comfortably and learn like what the rider in front of me is doing different that I'm not doing. So come second moto, I know what he's doing and I can get by him and, try to check out. But in that 250D race, man, the bike count for 250D at some of these races are just pretty scary, especially at Muddy Creek, lining up with 35, 40 other riders that, you don't even know if they've rode a bike or not before. But that last race at Top Gun, you got out, had the whole shot. But that first turn, man, I went inside and everybody was piling up. Like, there's a line. I think I even went off the track. I think I had to go up above where that tree is and then, go into that first tabletop. But I came out off the gate fifth and held fifth the whole race through. And I think that would have probably been my best race that I had as far as like bike count and stuff on the gate. But no, if you're on 125, don't have doubt in yourself. Definitely just ride comfortably, ride smart, and you may surprise yourself.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, the 125, it's really something else. If you know how to ride a 125, the 250 ain't gonna keep up. I don't know. That's just how I am because the weight ratio and all that. You can be faster on 250, you can be faster on 125. It's just how you ride, really.
Yeah.
But I remember at that Top Gun race, I seen you come over that triple trying to do that Superman. it scared me, man. It really did.
It was definitely scary. And I think what had happened was, that right-hand turn before you have that little small tabletop or double, however you want to hit it. And then you go in and hit that triple. Coming out of that turn, my foot slipped off the peg. And I gave it gas and both my feet slipped off. So I'm just hanging on, going up the face of a triple, feet hanging off the end of the bike. I'm just like, all right, I got two choices. And this is midair. Think about this. I had to think quick. Either toss it or hang on for dear life and hopefully just you can be able to ride it out. And I took a chance and held on to it and rode it out. And I really didn't even lose any time if you look at the video, because by the time I landed, I had my feet back on the pegs going into the turn and right back up on that 450's rear tires. So it's definitely if you play motocross video games, I mean, I don't know, motocross in general is just really, really fun. So it's definitely a challenge. It's definitely a mind game as well. Think of it as chess. One wrong move and you're screwed, but one right move and you could check out. So anyway, Josh, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Outlaw Series this year. You're definitely a fun kid to be around. You definitely bring a lot of smile to the track. And I'm looking forward to see you hopefully up on that podium this year, man. Definitely look forward to do some future videos with you, maybe midway through the season. And you see me at the track and you want to do a video or something, just give me a shout out, man. Hey, interview me.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time out. I know it's getting kind of late, but I know you were wanting to get this done, so I'll get it edited and uploaded, and hopefully this helps you as a rider and get your name out there, man.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me come on.
Yes, sir. Take it easy, Josh.